Start with our first run of today, Shovel Knight, King of Cards, any percent, being run by Dan the VP. Let's go, Dan.
All right, well, welcome on in to day 2 of Speed 4. I'm sure we can add a couple more numbers. Hopefully some more numbers to the donation total as well. This is Shovel Knight, King of Cards. It is the 4th and final campaign released as part of the Shovel Knight Treasure Trove. I will refer to it just as King Knight because that is our main character, and time is going to start whenever I select this profile, which is in 3, 2, 1, go. Alright, so the first business we have to take care of is learning about how King Knight moves. He's got 3 main movement options. He's got a bash, a roll, and a fancy little spin jump. Now, the bash is kind of like a Wario Land style, which, spoiler, it's a heavily retro-inspired game. So we get a bash, and if we bash during the bash, we get a roll. That roll is really important because it preserves our momentum. If you just kind of bash and let it in, you have to come to a complete stop before you keep moving. So we are going to be rolling like we were playing Donkey Kong Country through this entire game. Now, the spin jump, we only get the spin jump if we bash into something like that wall. Now, once we spin, we can pogo off of enemies and some other objects, and that refreshes the bash. So that was a lot to cover in hopefully less than a minute, because that's how fast this level should be. But you know the basics now. There will be a quiz.
Oh, no.
Yeah, take notes. Come on, I know it's Saturday, but you don't get a day off. So
right.
You'll notice.
Let me get my paper.
Yeah. If you're familiar at all with any of the Shovel Knight campaigns, you'll probably immediately notice that King Knight is quite a bit different. The original 3 campaigns had long levels with multiple checkpoints. Each level was kind of themed, and the first theme was the plains. Well, King Knight gets more of a SMB3 style overworld, so we're going to have secret exits, we're going to have branching paths, we even have hammer bros that spawn on the map. So with that being said, we get short levels that each have about 1, maybe 2 checkpoints. And it also means we get to skip things, which is like the best thing you could possibly ask for in a speedrun. So there are some themed stages that we're not even going to see. Sorry if you're a fan of Mole Knight, we're not going to see him at all. Treasure Knight and all his greed, we're not going to see him either. We'll get to see Plague Knight. Spectre Knight's a boss, so sorry if there's any fans of a certain knight we're not going to see. But that's stage 2. We're going to go visit our mom real quick. She's kind of an entrepreneur trying to sell us her meat pies. We don't need any extra help.
It's okay. We can just say, hi, Mom. Bye, Mom.
Yes, exactly. We will see Mom again, but it'll be after she finds her new boyfriend, which we will meet him in a couple of stages. But this is the 3rd and final stage of the plains, and it's going to have our first boss, which is Spectre Knight. And Spectre Knight is a main point of RNG in this run. We're going to fight him twice. Neither of them I particularly enjoy. We don't really have anything special to fight him with at this point, and Spectre Knight gets iframes as if he was a playable character, which is pretty unfriendly if you ask me, but we're going to literally just bash our face into him, kind of strategically rolling so we don't get the spin jump, because that's a little bit slower, and hopefully utilizing our iframes to not die. So if you've got any donations or anything you'd like to add, we can do that during this boss fight, Hanade.
Wonderful. All right. I mean, we always have things to talk about. And earlier, I know I was talking about the incentives. I just want to remind y'all, Transgender Law Center is a multidisciplinary organization that advances the movement for transgender and gender non-conforming people using an integrated set of approaches, including strategic litigation, policy advocacy, educational efforts, movement building, and the creation of programs that meet the needs of transgender and gender non-conforming communities. Oh, perfect timing, too.
Yeah. So this is Shovel Knight, King of Cards. Spectre Knight just gave us a little starter deck. There's a pretty unique card game that Yacht Club developed specifically for this game. We're going to come up to our first card house where there are a number of duelists that will challenge us and test our skills. Luckily, though, we can completely skip the entire card game, meet a couple of friends here that are going to lend us their airship, and you're not going to see cards again the entire run. So if you want to see that, there's an amazing 2.5 hour, 100% speed run you can go check out, but we don't have time for that today.
You say we're going fast.
Yes, and you will see the start menu like that a couple of times. Shout out to Lukey, who discovered that exiting the game is faster than leaving the airship. So any time that we get forced up to that airship, which will be several times during the run, we're just going to quit to the main menu, reselect that save file, and load back into the game. Now we're hitting our first secret exit in this level. That's gonna lead us to get our first and only relic. Unlike some of the previous nights, we're gonna get 2 items in the first world, and then that's it. You might think King Knight would be shopping a little bit more, but he's a little more concerned about getting his actual crown, because canonically he's not a king yet. He's King Knight, but no crown. This level is really important to the speed run because we're going to pick up a relic, and to buy relics you have to complete a stage that limits you to only using that relic. So we can't bash, we can't spin, any of that. So we're going to use the turncoat here, which we can talk about a little bit later. But the reason why this level is so important for the speed run is it's the only relic stage that actually skips an entire level. So there are some other really fast relics that would be fun to use in the speed run, but this kind of dictates the route because it skips an entire level and we get to do this little short level. So that was that. Got the turncoat now, and we're going to be heading back up to the airship because we got a new friend. So what the turncoat allows us to do in this run is about 3 unique things. First of all, it lets us just roll through enemies and projectiles. We just pass straight through them without taking damage. It stores up to 3 charges, so if we absorb or roll through a projectile or an enemy, it'll charge it up, and when we release it, it does that much damage based on how many charges we have stored. And lastly, it lets us roll left and right, which it doesn't make a big difference right now, but combined with the second item we're going to buy during this run, it gets pretty strong. But we're coming up on the first world boss, which is King Pridemore, the actual king. And so the story of this game is King Knight heard that there was a card challenge and you could be named King of Cards, and he's not a king yet, so he thinks he's gonna go battle the card masters. But King Knight's a little bit dense and doesn't understand the concept of a card battle, so we're actually just going to battle them literally, and we'll see how quickly we can kill King Pridemore here.
While we're watching this,
right.
Oh,
No, you're fine.
I believe. While we're watching this slightly tense fight that we all believe, just a reminder, you can also donate as little as I think $1 through Tiltify. So !donate, and I know there was a suggestion earlier for a $2 donation train, buying donuts for chat. I don't know, a donut sounds really good right now.
Ooh.
What is your favorite flavor of donut?
Chocolate covered with no glaze.
Ooh.
Can't be too sweet.
You know what? That's fair. Chat. So donate. How about we donate $2 with your favorite type of donut? Start the day off right.
All right, so King Pridemore is now dating our mom. Luckily, he's also a blacksmith, so we bought this armor. It is the Battery Brigandine, and that's the last thing we're going to buy all run. But this is going to fundamentally change our movement, because now, not only do we have a bash, but we can charge that bash. And so you're going to see it right here. I'm holding it down, and I'm going to let it go. This is me letting go of a button, not pressing a button. So now we can combine the bash, which then holding it, charging it, and the turncoat helps us retain that momentum, but also because we can roll left and right with the turncoat, we can move left and right midair by using the turncoat, if that makes sense. Normally, whenever we would bash up and down, which we can do with this armor now, we'd kind of be stuck in place because you can't move very well left and right midair. So we can bash up, activate the turncoat, which preserves our momentum, and we can use that for what we call like a coat jump or a moon jump or a Carter jump, whichever you would like to call it. But we can also move left and right midair with a lot more ease than without the turncoat. So you're going to see that quite a bit, like right here if I can get it. And this is the movement for the rest of the game, pretty much. We're on to the second world map, and I actually lied. I said we weren't going to see any Treasure Knight stages. This is a Treasure Knight stage. I completely forgot about it, so we're going to get another secret exit here. The rest of the game, we're going to just be trading off normal exits, secret exits, whatever is faster. These do unlock unique areas, but nothing that we're going to play during the speed run. Oof, come on.
I love the Mario mechanics, like the fish that's trying to eat you.
Oh, yep.
Oh, sorry.
No, you're fine. This is the first section of the game I actually start claw gripping, and so it gets a little hairy trying to do the fastest strats. But we're going for it, and I'm gonna do as many of the fastest strats as I can. So we will have a few unfortunate deaths. I can pretty much guarantee that.
We believe, right, chat?
Yeah, getting those jump bashes are really tricky because jumping out of the bash, similar to rolling out of the bash, lets you kind of preserve your momentum so you can kind of double bash. But it's really easy, I think, as David in the chat pointed out, to just kind of roll. And if you hit a wall or you're like rolling over a pit, you really can't do anything after the roll if you're not on the ground, and you just kind of roll to your death sometimes.
Oh no.
This level, first Plague Knight stage, has a really fun ending where you really get to see the power of the armor and the turncoat combined. King Knight's going to basically just fly for a little bit, so if you've got any aviation fans, I think according to all the laws, King Knights should not be physically able to fly, or however the copy pasta goes, but we're going to prove it wrong right now.
I'm waiting to see the flight.
There you go.
Nice.
That's a nice kind of 5 or 6 second skip there at the end. Do not quit to desktop. That is one. Every time you see me going to back to this menu, there is a chance that I just quit to desktop, so.
Oh no.
Yeah, oh no indeed. Luckily the game saves, so. Alright, second Plague Knight stage, a rather frustrating one. We're going to try to make it through here. Might have to just sit around and wait a little bit. This is a very cycle-based stage. Everybody loves waiting in a speed run, but not worth falling. The Shovel Knight series in general is really true to its retro roots of having lots of ways to die instantly. So I'm going to try to avoid those. And if you fall down that pit right there, you start an auto-scroller that we would have to exit the game to reset. So that's why I'm being a little cautious there. These are all on a global cycle, so as I've made mistakes early on in this level, they kind of dictate, alright, there we go, how fast we can go through it. We're going to wait for this top flames, because that's going to set up the entire screen here. Could go a little faster, but you're going to end up having to wait at the end anyway, so better just to be safe. make it to that secret exit there. The secret exits really do help us, and just huge shout out to Yacht Club for always thinking about speedrunners. Not only do we can we skip basically every auto scroller with the way this the overworlds are laid out, but there's also logic in these games, so none of the kind of random overworld things you see spawning will ever block your progression path. They're coded so that they will never step in front of the most recent level you just unlocked. And that's, I don't know if it's just for the speedrunners, but we like to think it's just for us. Yeah, let's not die here. We do have one auto scroller coming up before the boss, so if you've got like 30 or 40 seconds worth of stuff to talk about, we've got time for it.
Perfect. I actually did want to let everyone know we opened 2 new bid wars. So we do still have the bid war for the Morrowind character name, which is open. You can also now instead choose to put your donations towards the Legend of Zelda Wind Waker HD file name, which includes can include most special characters, including emojis. So that one's fun. And then the Let's Go Eevee name wars, you can donate towards the player character, River, Eevee, or Starmie names. And for any of those, just remember you're going to pick the option in your donation. So let's say for Let's Go Eevee, you wanted to donate towards River, you would pick the name River option with your donation, and then in your comment, put what name you want that donation to go towards. We are keeping track of that behind the scenes for you.
All right, so don't blink. The second boss might not last that long. Might not. Might last for a little while.
Oh my god, that is cute.
And that is the fastest kill. Oh, that feels good. That fight is very, very tricky timing-wise, because if you don't get a full 3 charge from all 3 of those shots, the boss goes off screen, so. There are several bosses that have very quick kills. Shout out to the whole Shovel Knight speedrunning community. They've done a lot of work over the years to optimize these boss fights, so it feels really good to get them, especially live and raising money for a great cause.
Also, if you did blink, I believe the VODs for this event will also be available later, so I promise you can go back and watch it again.
So you can get crushed. This there's a couple of places in this level that you can get crushed. Fun fact, we have a lot of cheat codes for this game. One of them is known as God Mode, where you're like infinitely strong and like 300% faster, and one of the only ways to die is getting crushed. So if you didn't know that, canonically in the world of Shovel Knight, God can be crushed. So just sharing facts. You can also get soft locked in this level, so it's kind of the double whammy on God Mode of, I think getting soft locked is actually worse than getting crushed, but
It probably depends. Do you have extra lives?
Well, so if you get crushed, you just respawn. If you soft lock, you have to like exit to the main menu in shame. So.
By the way, it was pointed out that I was reading the bid wars for Let's Go Eevee. It is not in fact named River, though that is what the bid war says. It is name your rival, which makes more sense. And so if you go into the donate towards that bid war, name River is to name the rival.
Okay. So we've got a longer stage here that's got 2 checkpoints, but we're going to skip a big section, thankfully. And after this, there's a stage coming up that is like the new themed stage. It's like the Burger King stages for King Knight. And I'm talking about it now because at the end, there's going to be a vertical auto-scroller that I'll take a little bit of quiet time for, because I'm going to try to beat that section blind, which is kind of hard, but also pretty fun. Like I said, we're going to roll into pits sometimes too. This is one of the trickier screens at the end. but luckily it's right after a checkpoint, so we just go for the hardest strats every time, because sometimes you're gonna die, but most of the time we'll win. Let's try this again. There we go.
By the way, let me know when I can read a few things. We have had donations coming in as well.
Oh yeah, go ahead.
Perfect. We have $25 from Anonymous. Says, good luck, Dan. Trans rights. And we did have a bunch of people donating for favorite donuts. $2 from Anonymous. Strawberry icing with sprinkles is my favorite donut. :3. And $2 from Hockey Babbler, buying a maple bar for chat. It's the best donut. Get on board with the donuttion train. that was a terrible pun. Thank you.
No. I'll allow it.
And that donation also went towards Trans Lefts as the name choice for Morrowind character.
All right, here's that auto scroller. And that's the end of the level. Oh,
nice.
Okay. We're kind of like 2 for 3 right now on strats I would like to nail live, so feeling good. The next couple of stages are also pretty tough, and we've got 2 boss fights out of them. This is Heavyweight Heights, a rather tricky stage, the only Propeller Knight stage we're going to see. We get to experience the wind mechanic and also these big hover meanies. I don't remember if that's the actual name or if that's like the I'm a speedrunner and I call it what I want to call it name, but big hover meanies.
I was about to ask, is hover meanie the official name? So thank you for answering.
It either is or it isn't, which is obvious, but it makes sense in my mind. David could probably tell you if he's hanging out in chat still. Shout out to David who ran this on release at SGDQ and Coronavirus Relief Done Quick. Long time, fast, shovel. All right, 3rd time's a charm. I'm gonna try this again.
We believe.
One of the difficult things with this turncoat is like holding a direction while you're letting go of a button, as opposed to... Alright, don't die on the spikes. Another big hover meanie, not gonna ruin our day. Alright, there we go.
Nice.
$1,800? Okay, let's go.
I was gonna say, as GG, can I read a donation?
Yes, yeah. I need to think for this next fight, so read away.
Perfect. We just broke $1,800, and one of the donations that helped us get there was $100 from I Have One Big Eye, just saying, hi, Dan.
Hey, Big Eye.
We also got a $23.84 donation from Caro saying, because nice round numbers go burr, congrats on smashing our day 1 target, y'all. Thank you so much for that donation.
All right, so we had all those donations come through, so you didn't see me die to this boss. This boss has a quick kill that is rather fickle. Kudos to the people who get it consistently, but we're going to come in and try to get it again. I need to get him down to 4 health. He's going to start doing this attack, which I don't want to see, but... Alright. Oh, there we go. That's the closest you can get it. So if you were watching the first time, you'll notice that Spectre Knight transforms and gets all of his health back. But if you manage to do enough damage during the phase change, you just kill him. So that is the quick kill. I'd rather die and get it than not get it at all, so... We've got the last stage in World 3 coming up. If I can manage to not just roll into a pit. And we get back-to-back boss fights. And these are the two more kind of fickle fights to get really quick kills on. So I enjoy the Birder Knight stage in general. It's got some unique platforming to it that is always also really frustrating. And there's just like infinite possibilities to fall in a hole. So, but the Birder Knight is similar to the Spectre Knight fight, as we're going to try to position the boss in a certain way that we get to burn through his health. Birder Knight heals. I don't even know if it's Birder Knight. Birder King, that's the right word. The Birder King heals, and so if we can pin him to the top of the stage by doing like a specific amount of damage at a specific time, we can use the top of the stage to kind of force us to pogo off of his head. So it can be a little tricky. We'll see if we can get it first try. Didn't get it there. We've got one more shot. And all right, we're gonna do this. Nope, we're not gonna do that. We're going to... No, let's try it again. It'll be quicker to die here and try it again than it will be to try to fight this out. He's going to heal quite a bit. So we're trying to use the turncoat to get a full 3 charge after dealing only 1 damage to Birder King right here. Still not it. One more try.
We believe.
All right, there we go. Got a little bit of it there. You can see pinning him at the top of the stage, but now we've skipped 2 or 3 of his healing stages. So as long as I can stay alive, which can be tricky in this fight, give me that heart. We should be able to knock him out. All right, back to full health. There we go. That's what we wanted to do to begin with, was pin him up at the top like that, but we made it through.
First try.
I'm learning something new every day from you, David. So we've got one more set of stages to come through, to play through, the 4th world, and then we're gonna have the final boss fights. There is not a boss rush in Shovel Knight King of Cards, which I don't like boss rushes in platformers, so I think that's the last time we're going to exit to the main menu. So if you like the menu, I might be wrong though. So these are the Tower of Fate stages, pretty iconic in the Shovel Knight campaigns. We're gonna, if you didn't already guess it, the Enchantress is behind everything. So we are going to fight the Enchantress at the end, as per usual. You see me rolling on spikes. Yes, that's very dangerous. The turncoat gives us a little bit of iframes, or we have iframes when the turncoat is activated, and we get a little bit afterwards. So be real risky there. There is a incredibly dangerous strat at the end of this level, which I do not do. Shout out to Norcus, who does that strat and has it in the current world record. You can skip 1 cycle of these crushers by falling to the bottom of the screen and bashing underneath them. It is a 2-frame window, and if dying at this point in the level, in this point of the run, it's just tragic. So shout out to Norcus. Right, dodge this fairy. All right, 2 more stages left. All of these levels just get like increasingly difficult. The platforming is a lot of fun, especially at this point. There aren't as many places to die in some of these stages, but it's just like you can take damage over and over and over, and it's kind of like death by attrition.
Mm-hmm.
Couple of dangerous strats here. Don't want to roll into the lava. I'll take damage there. Gonna take damage one more time. Now we've got 1 HP. I think I will actually get this checkpoint. It's the one time I will ever get this checkpoint is at 1 HP in a marathon, because there's a couple of places at the end of the stage that, like right there, could have taken damage. And there's a couple of spots right here that it's easy to just accidentally take damage from these frogs. Alright, got through the frogs. One more really difficult spot. Alright, didn't take damage there. We should be safe. There we go.
Hey! Nice.
Alright, last stage, the Warp Wrap Keep. And it's going to end in a big, long auto-scroller. If I remember correctly, Yacht Club has, like, one dude who, like, makes the big auto-scrollers at the end of all of their games, because it is kind of a theme. On the New Game Plus category, we can finish this auto-scroller blind. It is my favorite part of any of these speedruns, because there is a one gap hole with a ladder at the top of it, and King Knight's 1 pixel wide, or not, he's 1 block wide, and so a one gap hole is a pixel perfect hole, but the ladders you can't interact with off screen. So we have a strat to get 1 block King Knight through a 1 block hole off screen, and you will not have seen the character for like 30 seconds. So I am really proud of the work we've done on the New Game Plus category, and it's something it's definitely worth checking out if you enjoy these games and you enjoy this run. But now we're playing through this auto scroller, so if we've got anything to catch up on, anything you'd like to add, we've got time.
Sure. So we are now at $1,824 even. Thank you so much for all those donations. One of the donations that helped us get there was $10 from CJ. It's all good. Good luck on the event. Name the EV Shuli. Or don't. Y'all do you. Thank you so much for that donation towards that bid war. Also, there was the whole mistype of rival versus river. We got $10 from a tea tree saying this is to name our river rival. I mean our rival ribbit. Excuse me, I have a frog in my throat. now that I'm sure I won't croak, please name our rival River, and good luck to all of the fantastic runners. Less than 3 and trans rights. Thank you so much for that donation.
If you're thinking to yourself, man, it would be awful to die to those rats at the end of that auto scroller, it's happened more times than I would like to admit.
Oh no.
Yeah. All right, final stage. This is, again, kind of iconically themed. This stage, I think, is identical to the final Spectre Knight stage, which with a couple of things changed. We've got a tile room, which, if you've ever played, like, any retro game, I think you've played a similar room. It might just be A Link to the Past, but I'm gonna, say it's more than that. We're gonna fight the Enchantress. Then we're gonna do a 2-phase fight of the final boss, whose name I never learned. Hopefully things will happen quickly. I do want to point out the strat at the very end, which I will probably forget about in the moment. It's called Brain Freeze. Shout out to David, who I think was the original discoverer of that. But we're just gonna freeze and glitch out the boss at the very end, so keep your eyes out for that. All right, here's the Enchantress.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that was good. There's actually, like, a way to do too much but not quite enough damage to the Enchantress, and we managed not to do that, so. And she's dead.
Nice.
That's a good fight to get down quickly. It's easy for that to spiral out of control, so. The first phase of the last boss here we really just have to fight by bashing him in the head. I think there was a board game called Don't Wake Daddy. That is this boss. We're just going to have to beat him in the head a whole bunch. It's really tricky. We're going to be staying in midair most of the time using our charged bash over and over and over. If we kind of get out of rhythm, it can be difficult to get back into rhythm, so try to do this first try. All right, there we go. Oh, let's get this health.
Oh no!
Oh, all right.
We believe. Chat, put your blesses in chat.
I need a heart to fall. Yeah, got bad RNG on the heart. I'd rather do it over and hopefully get it all the way through in one try. There we go. Gotta wait for the laser. Whoa! Did I miss one? All right. There we go. We got a couple of places we could refresh early on, like right here. Two more hits. Play it safe. Wait for him to come back up. All right, so when he exposes his brain, we're gonna jump on his head, and time's gonna come up when the next health bar reaches 0. So 1, 2, 3, damage boost, and this is the boss. Time's coming up. Time. That was the brain freeze glitch there at the end. Took us a couple of tries on a couple of the bosses, but we did get to see all of the strat. Which, the biggest part of this run is kind of lining up all of those boss skips, all of those quick kills without taking any deaths. So I'm happy to show off most of them, if not first try, in the run regardless. Shout out to Big Law and everybody who put this together so quickly. I always love being able to get to be a small part of events like this, so it means a lot to be included. Shout out to David and Lukey and the rest of the Shovel Knight speedrunning crew. That it's a great community to be a part of. We've got incredible resources, and it's a really, really welcoming community. So if this game or any of the Shovel Knight games look like something you might like to enjoy speedrunning, please come on through. Give me a holler, join the Discord. We've got lots of room for you. That being said, we've got a lot more runs coming up and a great weekend planned. So that's going to do it for me and Shovel Knight King of Cards any %.
Thank you so much for that amazing run. And y'all heard Dan, don't go anywhere. We still have so many good runs coming up.